And welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Right now is the time to call if you want to prevent box elder bugs, ladybugs, stink bugs, all kinds of those flying bugs. If you want to keep them out of your house and don't want to let them make it their winter timeshare, then you need to get Southeast Termite and Pest Control out to your home. It's a one-time treatment, and they cover all your home's entry points one time. And the thing is, you want to get this done before these guys start flying around and start entering your house. Once they're in there, you're going to be like my home last year and have 5 million little ladybugs crawling around on the windowsills. I am going to do this one-time treatment from Southeast Termite and Pest Control. You should too. All right. Hot reads. As we get into our football mode here, this is one we always do in our football shows. Hot reads. 2 quick questions for you. First one, Todd Kelly Jr., Evan Berry, Josh Smith, Jonathan Kongbo, Jason Kroom, Dylan Bates, Corey Vereen, Brett Kendrick. Some of the guys that have been rested or been, maintained, had a little maintenance done because they got bumps and bruises and they're tired and worn down. Butch Jones says don't read too much into it, but that's a lot of names there. And then you still have Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Juwan Jennings, and Shy Tuttle. Are you to the point now where you're starting to be concerned about injuries at all 2.5 weeks before the season? You are?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think that you get this close, you've got, Jalen Reeves-Maybin is the big one. I mean, that's
what about, I'm talking about, we've always been concerned about Maybin, Tuttle.
The other little ones, the guys that I think you have to expect you're going to have guys come and go off of being hurt day to day. But as long as you don't see 3 days in a row, why does he not practice 3 days in a row? He needs lots of rest.
Yes.
He's very, very tired.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you avoid that and it is just a day on, day off, you got things that need to be iced, need to be heated, et cetera. So I'm not as concerned about the smaller ones as I am the bigger ones that we've talked about all since last year.
Right. Anybody more concerned with these little injuries coming along, these little days off?
Yeah, I'm not, because I view it as maintenance. That's the word you use, John. I think that's what they're doing because they have more guys that they can have in position to practice when others go out. In the last couple of years, if somebody was out with an injury, you're probably just cutting down reps in practice because you don't have other guys to fill those spots.
Right.
Now I think you do. Like the defensive line, if Corey Vereen steps out, Kyle Phillips gets more time, and he's a guy that needs it because he wasn't there in the spring.
Football injuries are the great wild card that's part of football, and when you got a lot of guys, but you use the term little, and that's when you look at Vanderbilt's lost a guy, Florida's lost a guy. So
For the season,
put it in context.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to freak out about right now. I think you go into it knowing that Shy Tuttle. I would look at this and say if you get something from Shy Tuttle this year, that's a bonus.
Yep.
Because you were over there at practice. Compare his work to other defensive linemen at this point.
Well, when Shy Tuttle's going through positional drills, which is what we've seen with the defensive line, physically moving, he looks good. Now, what does that mean for football? I couldn't tell you. I would still say that you're several weeks away from him being able to play football at an SEC level, but he looks good the way that he moves in practice with the drills individually.
And a lot of that you wonder how the swelling or whatever is after some of those practices. That's the key to me on how much he's going to be able to help.
All right. Next question. Tennessee has a new slogan. Of course they do. Butch Jones is the coach, and he is the king of slogans. And here's the thing. He's made them work. His guys buy him. All right. He's a good motivator. They've had reason to go in the tank a couple of times these last couple of years, and they haven't done it. They've kept fighting. So not mocking it. But the slogan this year is own it. Last year it was my all, as in I'll give my all for Tennessee. This year it's own it, as in own the expectations, own the hype. It's funny, most of the summer he said we don't pay attention to the expectations. This week at Media Day he said we want the expectations, we expect high expectations here at Tennessee. Our expectations are for high expectations. But we've got to own them. Hot air, good motivating mantra, or I just give him a pass because it works? I give him benefit of the doubt.
I think I'd give him a pass. I like it better than rent it. It's better to own it than to rent it. But
lease
also,
it with an option to buy.
Yeah, really. But I think that also kind of delivers the message, hey, the expectations are higher, and we may be even more invested than we were before. All
right.
I think it's very appropriate. Own it, own the expectations. They're unlike you've had at any time in these guys' career. I think it's appropriate.
I think it's very good. I like it. I don't think it's just hot air. I think some of his things are cliched and silly. I think everybody can admit that. But I think this one, like Mike said, I think this is very apropos for this team. I mean, the expectations are there. You can't hide from them, you know. So I think own it's a pretty good way to put it.
Final word, Mr. Ward.
Yeah, it's like Butch Jones with the media. A lot of people want to see more rah-rah or fire back at Florida, but the players, do they stick to what the coach is saying? With that, they have. With Own It, they seem to be buying in, and if the players buy in, that's really what matters. That tells whether it works or not.
You've also had, you know, there's a group of people that didn't want Butch Jones hired in the first place, and I don't think you ever win those people over. They're the ones that get upset over just everything, and there have been a lot of people who didn't like the fact that he won't own the expectations. All right, that we heard that this summer at Media Day. People ask about winning the East. He didn't say, yeah, that's our goal. By God, we are going to win it. I thought this week was as close as he's come to actually acknowledging the expectations and say, okay, we're ready. Yeah, we own them. So I wonder if that's not a little bit of a reaction to what's happened. He would tell you
it may
no,
be.
but I think they've been over there. If this is their fourth year, I think it's safe to say that they do pay attention to what they hear.
Sure.
Drew Richmond told me, I asked him about the trash talk with Florida. He said he rarely sees it on social media. He's heard about it from Butch Jones.
There you go. Interesting. All right. Very good. Speaking of coaches hearing things, Zach Azzanni this week. He's had enough of the talk about receiver rotation. We'll tell you what he said, and do we owe him an apology? Come on back.